All right, can everyone hear us okay? Yes, great. So my name is Sophia Zhou. I am the moderator of this discussion panel. Thank you, Alexander, for the invitation. We have the rare privilege of getting to know the composers before even hearing their music. So that's, as a performer, I'm a pianist myself. I always find it more interesting to actually get to know the composer behind the music before actually hearing it. And I know Sergei, Craig, and Konstantia are visiting from Germany, especially for this event. So welcome. And can you just tell us a little bit about why you're presenting this specific piece of music to our New York audience today? So why don't we start from Konstantia?
Good evening, very nice to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation, all of you. There are always two parts of decision. One is a practical way, and the other is also emotional. Here for the performance today, for the event, we had to have a little musician, little instrumentation, because we have a very small space here. Mm-hmm. So that I decided to send my Apollon. It's a trio for piano, violin, and cello. And for me, it's also important because Apollon has to do with the Greek god Apollon, and he responds the light, the music represent a lot of Greek issues. And something that I wish to tell you is that Apollon, the piece has 7 miniatures, like the name Apollon. And every miniature has a title. A is for identity. The second one is P, inner tension. The third one is O, breathing. The fourth one is L, light reflections. The fifth one, I need also to read it. The fifth one is L, dream memory. The sixth one is O, fire dance. And the last one is N, and the name of the last one is reverberation. So that it was with this theme for me important to bring a Greek theme, something that for me is important, and with these 7 miniatures to give 7 different signals of music, but to create an whole thing.
Wonderful. And you, Craig?
Is it on? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what a surprise. I'm presenting today my piece called Lamentation. Most of the music I write is for solo piano. I came out of the classical background, and I fell in love with piano music, and so I continued to write piano music, tonal piano music, actually. And this piece is called Lamentation. It was written in memory of a very close friend of mine. She died very unexpectedly, and it reflects how I felt about that loss. And this is a piano piece, and then it has since evolved into a flute and string orchestra piece. And we couldn't get a string orchestra on stage here tonight, so I'm going to play the piano version. So, okay.
Thank you. And Tamar?
The piece that I'm representing, it sounds like a sous chef or something. I presented today.
What? Can I say something? Because I'm always curious about pieces with nicknames, those in parentheses. And your piece is named Argaman. Am I pronouncing that right? Can you tell us what that's about?
It's Argaman. So this is one of the pieces that I had the name, the title, even before I had the piece. For me, it's like choosing the title is sometimes more difficult than writing the piece itself. I mean, for some reason. And I have a list of like at least 100 names of that sounded to me that attached to me somehow, and even before I have a piece. And Argaman, it's one of them. So I knew that one day I will write a piece that somehow will fit the idea. Argaman in Hebrew, it's crimson. It's a color that I like not to wear, but it's very passionate for me. I like the sound of the name of the word. And this is a piano trio it's like around 13 minutes. It has 2 solos in it for piano. It's not something that I decided ahead of time to write a piece with 2 solo in that. This is what I somehow heard and needed to do. Some people might raise an eyebrow that how come I have indeed 13 minutes, 2 parts that are for piano, which sounds for people that, okay, so this is probably a more important instrument in the trio, which is absolutely not what I felt. And it's a very, as I told the players, it's one energy from the beginning until the end. There are some parts that are softer and more tender, maybe, but still, and sometimes players tend to take it too laid back. And I tell them, even if it's piano and soft, the energy should always keep forward. So it's 13 minutes of energy.
Okay, lots of energy here. And Sergei?
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for the invitation. I have to express my gratitude to Leo Beck Institute and 1014 and also person to Alexander Polzin for being here. And I'm not sure that my piece have to do with my identity, something, but I had to probably to do with my perception of the time or perception with a view on the things, because my favorite quality of a music, of a piece of art, is ambivalence. This is so the possibility to see an object with 2 different perspectives. And in this piece, this is Klavierquartett, written for very famous German violinist Christian Tetzlaff and pianist Lars Vogt. When I was composer in residence at Festival des Spannungen, curated by Lars Vogt, who is also unfortunately passed away. And also this is, I try to create a situation of 2 perception of 2 tempos, 2 temps to the same time, also slow and fast. And this is different kind, also figurations of piano or of strings is this same time is similar, the same at the same time as the 16th notes. But I create trying always to create different situation who helps to feel 2 different temps at the same time. So this ambivalence probably had to do with my different cultural background, but it's with one Russian, German. But I have had not more to say. Thank you.
No, this is very interesting because actually my biggest question for all of you is that including myself, we all grow up in a culture that is very different from the culture that we currently live in. I know you're of Russian origin, but you right now live in Berlin. Tamar was born in Israel and had been living in New York for 30 years. And Craig moved to Berlin and is very active on both sides as an American composer. And Konstantia has been active in Germany for a long time, both as a composer, conductor, organizer of ensembles, and all these things. So we are essentially straddling very different cultures. I guess my question is, it's a very big question, but what's your relationship between the work that you're producing and your own cultural and identity? And I'm sure over time that changes as well. Anyone want to jump in?
I think that it's a question of conscience. For me, it's not, I don't start to compose or to do something and I think, I am Greek, what is my rules and what can I do? The thing is, how can I develop my conscience to know, to find out who I am, from where I'm coming, so that I find the way to put these notes with this energy that represent myself, and to find through this way the way to communicate with the musicians and with the audience. Of course, in the years, you ask yourself, what is that I do as an artist or as a musician? Do I use the technique? Do I use maybe the charisma? Do I use that I learned? What do I do to produce a result, acoustical result, so that I give a signal, a message to the public? And in this moment where I was asking myself, it is when I came to Berlin, I recognized after 3-4 years that the only way to be honest with the audience is to know from where I come, where I'm born, in which place I am born, and what is that this place gave me. And Greece gave me a lot of knowledges, and a lot of conscience from where we are coming through the philosophy. It brought me a lot of rhythm, it brought me a lot of melodies, and all this stuff in Berlin I had to forget in my studies, and that is that I came to Berlin to study 87. And my teacher said this time, melody, no, it's forbidden. Rhythm is forbidden. You have to do this and this and this and this. And I thought that's okay, they are right, it's forbidden. I have to find a new way. And after 3-4 years unluckiness, so I start to think that I have to find a new way to write music, otherwise I have to stop. And in this moment, I started to think about identity and what makes me me. This is a part of an answer.
Great. Yeah, I realize a big question. What about you, Craig?
Well, I have a very different story, and it's
Please.
funny. When I was in university and studying, and I was studying contemporary composing techniques, and which you'll hear many on stage today. And when I came to New York, I had the great fortune of meeting Leonard Bernstein, who I eventually worked for. And I had left some music for him at his apartment building, the Dakota, and I'd left a couple song cycles of mine that are very tonal and very, I think they're very beautiful. And I left a giant orchestra piece using all the contemporary 20th century compositional techniques. And Lenny looked at me. I went and had a meeting with him, and he said, there's two types of composer here, and there's only one that's honest. And which one is the honest composer? And I said, well, it's the tonal music. So Lenny told me to write from my heart and to be honest with my own music. And that became a very liberating moment in my life, because it felt so important to me to write this big 20th century music. And he said, no, that's not honest for you. So write from your heart. And so my music is very tonal, very melodic, and very melancholic most of the time, because it reflects my life also, because we have, our lives are, happy, sad, so on and so forth. And so my music is very personal, and it's it has melody, you know, and that
it's
kind of
who
thing.
you are.
So that's who I am. Yeah. So.
Great. What about you, Tamar?
I have a very similar experience as Konstantia. When I studied in Israel, I started to study there, and our teachers also, is exactly as you said, it's not recommend to write this and this. It's forbidden. So there are very strict rules. So, for example, we could not write a chromatic scale, even if it's just 5 notes. We could not have parallel octaves. We could not write something just because it's beautiful. And we took it really, really seriously. Pop music was a curse. I mean, you're not supposed to like it, or if you like it, you're not supposed to admit that. So, so it was, and for me, it was very, very difficult because I like pop music. I like all kinds of music, and it took me many, many years to understand that. So when I came here, it's 100% different. It's okay. Everything is okay. And also my students, my composition students, I swear to myself that I will never have them what I experience, because if they like something, if this is something that in them, they have to go for it. You can write good music in any style. Maybe not everybody would like it, but you can do your best only if you write something that is really meaningful for you and is really proud of you. So when I came here, also not when I came here, long after that. I mean, I dragged this frustration from Israel for many, many years. It took me a long time to just let go of everything that doesn't work for me. And I don't know if it's luck or curse, but because I feel so close to so many, to different styles, I feel very comfortable to write in different styles, and different pieces of mine sounds very different than one another. So I could please anyone that wants. You know. And when I came here, it just I realized that, for example, that I don't want to write a piece that I have sketches and I know what is the last note. It doesn't work for me. It works for other people, but I'm a more impulsive, spontaneous composer. Of course, I analyze what I do. It's not that I just write whatever comes to my mind in any given moment. But like writing a sketch that I literally know what is at the end, it's just not working for me. And this is how we were supposed to work in Israel.
So do you think that kind of honesty and freedom to express yourself also has to do with the liberal environment of New York? Or it's more of a personal growth?
Well, I think it's both. I became older, and I realized that it's exactly as Konstantia said. It just doesn't work for me. I need to find a way to do something that is me, that is meaningful for me, which is not that bad. I'm not, it's okay. For sure. I have ideas. It doesn't need to be somebody else's ideas. And also definitely there is an atmosphere here that things are, sometimes I feel that in Europe there is a little snobism towards America and the other way around also. I think in Israel we studied the way at the time, I don't know what about now, but at the time the way they were teaching in Europe. So if you hear Israeli composers, their music is much closer to composers from Europe than composers from here. And so all the pieces of mine are much more atonal. I just told somebody I listened to Sergei's music and I said, wow, it's I'm home. It feels so for me. I'm nostalgic to music that I don't know. It's because that is the way that I was writing quite years ago.
Right. And as someone who grew up in China, I can identify with Sergei's education in Moscow. It's just very traditional, very Western. No. Okay, all right. Let's hear
first,
it.
I can divide my CV in three parts. Also, my most important education was happened in Germany. Also, after college in Moscow, I finished college in I'm college in Moscow at Tchaikovsky Conservatorium, and I studied composition with two choreographers of East German avant-garde, Jörg Kerschit in Dresden, in Friedrich Goldman in Berlin. But more important was impressions of real music life in Berlin, but also in Moscow of the end of the 80s, because I was growing up in the late Soviet Union era, and this was a time when everybody comes to Moscow. Also das so Cage, Nono, Stockhausen, es was played, also die Musik war played everywhere, contemporary music. Es war really boom of contemporary music, and next 12 years I studied and began my career in Germany, only in Germany, or in Middle European space. And after 2005, I came first time to Moscow with some pieces, and from Moscow I was not radical enough my music, because this was a boom of contemporary music. This was so, but it was a little different type of music, also what in Moscow. Okay, and after return of Putin in 2012 to president's chair, I remembered that I have actually a German composer, and I restart my career in Germany, but also with Moscow experience, and until beginning of full-scale invasion in Ukraine, Russia's full-scale invasion to Ukraine, I regularly worked in Russia. Oh, string is...
It seems like the string
is coming. Okay, and this was all common understand like these and antithese and synthese. And if you speak about influence of origin, also of Russian culture identity, my very good friend Raiko Füting, New York composer, originally from Dresden, but he lives compose and teach in New York, said me sometime he start to understand the music by Morton Feldman when he saw first time the American landscapes, these dimensions of your American landscape. And I think this most important influence what we at origin can behave is the syntax. For example, in Asian music, we have to endless time, as a feeling of endless time, and also in Russian music, as we have when I compose, I use models of dramaturgy which used to join with very long deployment of material. Also the starting sometimes often with one part or the one voice with, and becomes polyphonic, more and more polyphonic. For example, if you know the movies by Robert Altman, yeah. It starts always with very long exposition, and it's also so like I try to compose, but so I can resume this as origin of composer. We can hear that in his syntax he joins.
Right. Well, that's great. How are we doing on time, Alex? Great. Yes, let's hear the music.
Yes, thank you.